Hey everyone, Tony D with another one of my wacky theories. So I've been looking at the Democrats, and every time I see them do something stupid, I just think to myself, how stupid could these people be? Why are they doing such awful, terrible things? And then it occurred to me, and again, this is just a theory. I'm not saying this is true or the chances of it are good that it's true. But did you ever think that maybe, just maybe, there is a controlled opposition going on here? I mean, you have to think that the Democratic Party is actually throwing this thing. Look at their candidates. Look at this lineup. You've got Joe Biden, who's just incoherent. You have Bernie Sanders, who can't win this thing. Elizabeth Warren, just as unpleasant as you can imagine, and adopting half, if not all, of Bernie's platform. Mike Bloomberg suddenly jumps into the race. Couldn't be less charismatic if he was a black hole. You've got Buttigieg, who is okay, but he's not great. Klobuchar, who's like everybody's awkward mom. Steyer, who has no business being on that stage. And, the whole host of other candidates who just seem like they just dragged out the worst of the worst. I mean, no one seemed to have a coherent vision for anything other than we have to beat Donald Trump. So, could it be that every 4 to 8 years, the candidates or the president or the parties get together and say, well, you guys are going to be in control for this 8 years, then we're going to take it up for 8 years, and then find another guy, because then it's going to be another 8 years for you, and like that. Because, I've just never seen, and this recent, the outbreak of the coronavirus, you have Democrats trying to exploit that for political game, and it's just very unseemly and not effective at all to try to blame Donald Trump for the coronavirus. So could it be that these guys are kind of a controlled opposition party this time around, at least, and that they all know they're going to lose, but they're just in it to, sell books or be famous for a while or have people watch them on TV. They kind of know they can't win, but, it's just fun to run, and it gives them a chance to be in the mix. But they all kind of know they'll never be in the seat of power. And if that could be true, could it be true that Trump's ascendancy is really just, a plan, right? Like, and it's not like a plan that somebody else, it's like a group plan. And Donald Trump's contribution to the group plan is, he's a master of optics. So not only is he orchestrating the perfect optics on his side, which seem to come together almost every time and make him insanely popular, but he's also orchestrating the negative optics on the other side, giving them suggestions to say, well, this would really make you look bad. Or his people are. And I just wonder that. Because I just don't see, I see a Democratic Party that's just burning itself to the ground. And what would be the end goal in that? I guess control of the country and control of the populace. Maybe the end goal is to keep us more at odds with each other because there is an impending economic collapse that has already been foreseen by the people in power, right? So maybe they mapped it all out and say, well, in about 10 years, this whole thing's going to fall apart. But what we need is to be able to make it fall apart at a certain point and be ready for it. Because during that collapse, we're going to seize even more power and, use our control of the people to keep them at bay so they don't overthrow us because we've essentially ruined ourselves economically. Does that make any sense? I mean, it's just that whenever I look at the Democratic Party, I just, and I used to be a Democrat, and they were never awesome. I mean, I thought Bill Clinton was pretty awesome for a while, but, and he seemed to be popular. Now it just seems like I can't even imagine why people are supporting Democrats right now. Other than people just like desperately want to believe the Democrats are awesome just so they could get away from Trump or something. But, I was watching some of Slightly Offensive. They're part of Blaze TV and they're on YouTube. It was interesting to watch him interview some Trump supporters who were going to the rally in Arizona or someplace. And there were black Trump supporters. There were guys who were Bernie bros who became Trump supporters. There were women there. All the people that, the mainstream media says don't support Trump. And yet they do. So, and he also dealt with some protesters too. And the protesters were kind of scary. And I mean scary and not intimidating. I mean scary like these people are nuts. These people are mentally deranged. The kind of people who are holding two completely opposing thoughts in their head simultaneously, and they don't see any problem with that. So when you see how excited everybody at the Trump rally is, and then you look at the Democrats and you wonder why is there anyone even here? And I've seen some of the Democratic rallies, and they're just sad. There's no energy behind them. I gotta wonder if it's a controlled opposition, because I often theorized when Trump got into power, the danger would not be that he wouldn't know what he was doing. The danger is he'd eventually figure out where the levers of power were. And once he actually had them, then he would be dangerous. Now, I happen to think that Trump is not like Hillary Clinton. Clinton seems to me someone who wants to remake the world. And she is also very big on, I wouldn't say she's a socialist per se, but she is definitely all about the government controlling most things. I guess that is kind of a socialistic view, but I don't think she sees herself as being a socialist. She's too much of a Goldman Sachs kind of candidate. But, the good thing about Trump is that he is for business, and that business in and of itself, capitalism in and of itself, is very American and more democratic than the government running everything. So, yeah, I don't want a corporate oligarchy, but a corporate oligarchy is infinitely preferable than one that's, run by a government oligarchy, let's say, a government, monopoly on most things. Because at least with the corporate one, you would hope that there's a few corporations and at least they would kind of keep each other in check. So it's not about really what government you are or what party you're in, but which corporation you're kind of behind, which brand you support. So I don't know if this, election is even real. Is it real? Is Donald Trump really running for president, or is he just putting on a show like professional wrestling so that we all feel like there's an election going on? Could there be enough orchestration behind the scenes to do that? I kind of think not, but part of me sort of wonders if it's possible, or at least, at least part of it is possible. That maybe part of it is, if Donald Trump is a charismatic guy and he's done well as president and he's going to win, and so maybe this is just the controlled opposition is, we know we're going to lose. Let's burn through the wackiest candidates we can now. So when the next election rolls around, people are sick of seeing them. Or if they're not seen at all, then you could say, well, we already gave you a chance to run, so we're just not going to let you run this time. Geez, did I just redden my eyes by doing that? A little bit. Sorry, it was very itchy. Yeah. So anyhow, that's what I was thinking about today. Controlled opposition. Could there be controlled opposition? I don't know. But when I see that Democratic debate stage, I just go, man, there's just nobody here. There's just no one here.